I say Phil here. Hey Phil, how
What up?
many apartments unrevealed?
Come on.
Are you putting salt to the wound now? Are you rubbing it in? My God, dude.
I'm
I
gonna make.
finally got a break. I finally got something.
It's like, he has a cut and you like put extra salt and like rub it in. Like, yeah, feel it.
So I'm gonna make the best damn studio ever.
Hell yeah.
You and Lala.
Shush. I'm gonna root for whoever is gonna get their reveals on Friday. That's gonna be hilariously fun. So did you figure out how many you have left, Pete? Like the legit numbers?
I don't know. I didn't refresh it 100 times, but last I counted it was 7. So
You're afraid you're gonna
hopefully
jinx
just stays
it?
there. Yeah, I'm not. I mean, until everything's out,
What?
until I
What,
see like the penthouse. I'm not gonna assume there was a penthouse.
What quarters you got left?
Oh, I got no idea. How do I see the images? Like,
That your chests that are unrevealed will show
Yeah,
you, right?
yeah.
Which quarters?
Yeah.
okay, the first one is a yellow RFOX logo. Which one is that?
That is your Kelly.
Alanova.
That's Kelly. Oh, second one is crystals. So
That's
Kolaxy.
Kolaxy. Yep.
Then I got
The black color one
The
would be
bl-
Terra.
the ones with the speakers at the side, right?
The RGB is the RGB is Arcimoto.
No,
The speakers at the side, right?
the one with the one with the CDs.
Yeah, that's Arcimoto. Blue color, right? Oh, but you're colorblind. You can't tell. Sorry.
It's the orange one. There's one is orange color, like orange top, yellow RFOX.
Orange.
Oh.
Wait. Not the peach purple one. He's
Okay, the peach
colorblind.
purple one is which one?
That's
Arcimoto.
Arcimoto.
Oh, that's Akamoto. Okay, then the other one
Yeah.
is like yellowish with a red RFOX with
Yeah,
speakers at
that's-
the side. Looks like speakers. That's so okay. So I got one of each then. 1, 2, 3, 4.
You
Each.
lucky
you lucky
bugger.
bastard.
You God.
Oh shit. Hold on. So I got one of each, and then
Yep.
I got 2 Kolaxy as well.
God damn it.
Yeah, and the last one's Kolaxy. I got 4 Kolaxys. Like, oh hallelujah! See, it worked. Yes.
What did you
Praise for
sacrifice?
Terrivaldi.
What did you sacrifice?
I sacrificed like 2 goats, a cat, and maybe a chicken. Yes.
Oh my God. Okay.
I got word that Benny can't make it today, so
Unfortunately, he won't be able to join us, but Luke will be jumping in real shortly.
okay,
About
then Luke can spoil everything then.
This Batman
Grimspiel,
dancer.
if you guys wanna check out all the designs, it's all the templates are already uploaded. You can go and check it out. I mean, yeah, I'm not gonna spoil anything tonight because you guys can only see it's all on chain. So just go check out the templates. Grimspiel, all 400 KOGs are there in its full glory. And next week we'll unpack them. Looking for KOGs trader.
Everyone.
Hey Luke, Ben can't make it, Luke, today. So
Yeah, Lala told me it's all good.
yeah, so you're running the show today.
Okay. Thanks for having the confidence in me, Pete.
Luke, first question before we start officially, when PSVR 2?
Oh my God.
You know what? Actually, I really like this because it's taken the focus off. You know what? We won't speak of the other platform.
No. After we get PSVR 2, I'm coming back to the other platform.
Of course we are.
Yeah, but that thing is dope as hell. I mean, but I know it's not apples to apples because it's it has the whole power of the console, right? But oh my god, if you're talking about immersive experience, that is like really immersive.
Yeah, I actually haven't spoken to you about it since you got it. I need to.
Yeah.
Need to avoid you. Although
So,
I'm looking forward to the new Vive because it the the lenses adjust to your eyeglass grade, so you don't need to wear glasses for it.
Oh, okay, cool.
Sorry, man. Go for it, Luke.
Yep, go for it, Luke.
I'm interested to know how many people think they've got a Sky apartment after today.
Peter is exceptionally happy today. I'm just gonna add that.
I'm exceptionally happy. I don't care if I get a Sky or not. I got a buttload of Kolaxy and reveals, so I'm happy.
He's got one of every quarter that's unrevealed.
Yeah, I got one of every color, so yeah,
There you go.
that's good enough.
I think when you've got that many apartments, you're bound to have some Skies, aren't you?
Not really, because I only got 49, so Sky is 1%, so I'm not putting my chances on a coin flip.
You got a better chance than most, though.
You're doing that reverse psychology thing.
I got a lot. I definitely have a chance, compared to say Phil.
Oh,
All right, you know what? We have to make that
God.
burn the combine thing happen.
Oh yeah, definitely we'll do that. But then again, I can burn Penthouse to combine.
Hey, Pete, there's a fine line between joking and harassment.
Okay, that's the last harassment. Sorry.
Madame's asking about penthouses. It was about 13%, right? Penthouses.
I gotta check the latest numbers. Madam, I'll get back to you. Let me pull up the Excel file.
Paradise is saying 11. That could be correct. It was around that range. They're not great odds, but 1% is definitely worse. They're terrible odds.
Yeah, I'm not putting chance on that 1% shenanigans. LLM might, he's got a shit ton, but I'm not.
Oh, you got to be in it to win it. Another thing that was we got a couple we got a lot of exciting things at the moment, but a cool thing which I got unfortunately right before this AMA started was a semi-complete final build for the open beta. The absolute buttload of stuff in there, but it landed right before we started, so I'll be very much looking forward to trying that out when we finish. A heap of stuff in there. I mean, probably the big one that we've talked about before is the RFOX ID integration, which will be the new RFOX ID will sit across the whole ecosystem. So that's obviously going to be really cool to have a more seamless login process. Helps us in a lot of ways as well. It helps us build it out a bit more, but we can be a bit more flexibility because we'll own that auth process from start to finish. So there's a lot of good things that'll come out of that. Other things which are really cool is the ability to create avatars in game now. So your Ready Player Me avatar can be created when you go into the vault. Even if you've already got one, you can create another one in there. You can do that on mobile or VR. There's a lot of visual stuff. You'll probably notice if because there's been a few builds in between. You probably jump in, you first see this open beta build, and it'll look quite different. But we think it's come a long way. We've done a lot of work on the avatar movement, as I said. There's just a bunch of cool stuff in there. The other one is we released the Art Generator 2 today, which is the NFT platform art generator with some changes to the performance of it, so it produces collections faster. We can do bigger collections now of 10,000. So that's really cool to see. There's some UI changes in that as well. So you can still use it on testnet if you want to go and play with it. What else? Grimspiel stuff we all know about. Do you want to add anything to that NFT platform update, Pete?
No, I think you got it covered. That one is the NFT platform. Today we released the new art generator, which goes up to 10,000, and then RFOX ID is on the way, I guess. The new RFOX ID is on the way. Web portal's up for internal tests at least. Then client, I think it's also being tested, I think on VR and mobile. So I think everything's kind of like in line, I guess, right now. I mean, Grimspiel is there. Templates are up in case you guys missed it, what I said earlier. Templates are already up, so you can go and browse to your heart's content or all 400 KOGs from Grimspiel. The non-foils have a 45 template limit, and the foils have 5 template limit. So you guys can go and, I mean, I'm not going to spoil, like, there's nothing to spoil anymore because it's out there in the public. So you guys just go have fun browsing it.
Pete, I think that's pretty much all of the updates on product. I mean, like I said, there's a lot in that VALT update. Got to unravel that. There's a lot of other stuff going on as well around that, like the user portal, as we've mentioned, that's getting a big update. We're testing that at the moment. Yeah, there's a lot of action. So this shop district thing has come up. If you haven't seen, we're making a change to the naming conventions for shops. So we're changing them to districts. There's a few reasons for that, but one of the main ones obviously is the fact that they're not necessarily going to be retail shops anymore. I mean, they can be, and they're certainly well suited to that, but they don't have to be anymore, and that's kind of limiting their function a lot. The thing is, one of the other reasons we looked at changing it to districts was the notion of the French quarters and then districts being the next size down. We wanted something that would really represent the possibilities, I guess, of the shops and what you can do with them. And I think we should think about those little the nested shops. So having shops inside of shops, we should think of them as almost like suburbs. And when you look at Slam, you can see it's got its own little neighborhood. It's its own space. It's not just a game, and it doesn't have to be. You can say the same thing about Fear. It's kind of its own little area. But if you think about shops housing other areas and other little districts inside of them, and you have mini like sub districts, and they can become a world on their own. And we wanted something that would really represent that. So I hope that makes sense to everyone. It's a fairly minor thing, but obviously there's a bit of work to do. We have to change a lot of branding and documentation and whatnot, but we feel like now's the time to do it before we go out to open beta and get new people in that aren't already familiar with these naming conventions. It just seems like a good time to draw a line in the sand and fix that up. It's something we've wanted to do for a little while. Did Android and iOS confirm VALT already? So we've got 2 layers of possibilities for the first couple of weeks at least of open beta. Because we've already gone through initial approval on Apple and Google for the testing builds, we can make both of those open if there was any issues. Basically, we could allow people to self-invite. These are backup plans, obviously not the main plan. And then SideQuest, obviously, for Oculus as a fallback. But we've got submissions in for all platforms. Google's kind of immune to it anyway, because if we go to an open testing channel like we have with Quest, and you can search for it, download it. There's no invites involved, so that's a pretty easy one. But yeah, we're just waiting for the Oculus stuff to come back. It apparently takes a while normally, so we've had it in for a little while, so hopefully we get that back pretty soon. Has RFOX Capital been affected by the SVB collapse? No, not in any way that I'm aware of. Yeah, I think, as Pete said, Ben's done a tweet about it, but in no direct way have we been affected. No, I think everyone's been affected, inadvertently or in a roundabout way, but not directly. No. I don't know if cash is that financial advice, madame? Cash is best kept under the mattress. I think
That is not
cash is
financial
taken, it's gotta be
advice.
gold, isn't it? What was that?
That is not financial advice. And gold is hard to sleep on.
That's true.
If I put my cash
you
there,
wanna
where
have
am
a
I gonna
soft
put my
mattress.
kids?
Any updates on C11 DAO, Pete? That's probably your
I'll jump in for
your
that
question
one.
No, I've not been talking about this Lala or Micah need to
Yeah.
take that.
Yep. I'll take that one. So, just an update for C11 DAO. Right now, we've met with the council members. They are sorting out whatever is required for the next steps. We will definitely start giving them a handle within this RFOX ecosystem. So later on, you'll be able to distinguish who is who and from which part. So we have somebody there as well on chat already, is a C11 DAO council member. 2 of them right now. There we go. So you can directly chat with them if you like. I'm sure they are already planning a few things for everyone to kind of have a talk about real soon. But yeah, we've talked to them. Really happy, good progress, and yeah, stay tuned to what they have to share with the community.
Thank you. Upcoming sales, buying a district compared to buying a shop definitely sounds more appealing to potential buyers. I mean that's one aspect, but it's kind of a side effect of doing it, which we think is like I said, a more apt description anyway. But yeah, obviously it's a better description of what it does, and as I said, the shop is a bit limiting. So will that add value potentially? It definitely would make it more appealing, as you said. So we want people to understand that it isn't just a one-to-one thing. They don't just have to build one experience. Certainly not just one retail space. They kind of own an area of the vault, and they can have multiple experiences under that. I think that's exciting. It's something we can demo pretty soon, but yeah, I think once shop owners or now district owners start looking into that possibility, I think that will become the norm. I think most shops will have, I keep saying shops, most districts will have nested experiences under them. It just makes sense. It's making a citizen-only district. I'm sure that's going to happen. Pheasant district.
All right, I guess I'll just update a few things as well for everyone, because I know everyone's enjoying the reveals and we're all rooting for Friday for those who will be getting Sky apartments or even the penthouse apartments, because you guys will finally be able to see how a penthouse looks like. So stay tuned for that. But don't forget, we still have reveals for citizens for next week. Rarities are the same as OGs the last time. You have your common, uncommon, rare, epic, legendary, and mythics coming up. So it's not over yet. People will still be able to check out what citizen rarities they get. But yeah, I know Friday is going to be epic for a lot of people. Pete probably is going to jump over the moon, sacrifice a few things before Friday.
Yeah, I need to find stuff to sacrifice.
Yeah, there you go.
Here's a question. Will there be any future use case for OG avatars, or will the demand dwindle once people have the ability to create their own avatars?
In my opinion, well, not in my opinion. I mean, there are things that are inherently inherent utility for OG avatars, like additional voting rights and the things we've already sort of spelt out. But there'll be we'll make sure there's a lot of advantages baked in going forward for OG avatars, and we want you can tell by the way the law's written that it's set up that way. We intend to look after the OGs and sort of give them privileges that the others don't have. Pete, got anything to add to that one?
Actually, we also have staking starting in Q2, meaning only OGs and normal citizens will allow you to stake them, and also apartments and shops, of course, for RFOX, basically, and that won't be possible with any of those newly created avatars.
And according to the website, there will be exclusive drops just for the
so that,
OG avatars.
exactly.
There's
So all of
going
our
to be a bunch of
NFTs
stuff going forward. Will the demand dwindle once people have the ability to create their own avatars? I don't think so, because I mean, well, they can make a unique avatar themselves from scratch, and there is appeal to that. But I think the OG avatars with that utility that we're talking about, I just think they'll have just have an extra cool factor, and I think that'll always be the case. We plan for it to be. Plus, they're the originals. The originals are always the cool guys, right? Like us old people. Is the open beta still on track for Q1 release? Yep, it is. As I said, we're getting an almost basically semi-complete build today. We're expecting the complete build on Friday. We've got a couple of weeks testing time built in there after the code freeze from Friday. So everything's on schedule at the moment. We can't foresee anything at the moment being an issue. As I said, even the App Store stuff we've got backups for, so nothing that we can see at the moment. And some of the stuff that Red Pill and I made a pretty big list of stuff we wanted to get resolved before we went out, and there were things that we were negotiable on at some point, but we just haven't really had to be in the end. So from what we've seen, we're going to hit almost everything, which is really exciting.
There's a question for Red Pill. Gecko added a tiny bit, but I'm hoping you can expand on it. Coming from the Second Life community, how will we have creators creating on platforms like Blender?
Blender is a tool, basically a 3D asset creation tool. And in our case, it would basically work very easily that you use the SDK and you just import those files to the SDK and then you submit it. So that's also how some other projects have been doing it. If you don't want to have gaming logic or anything of that in your project, you just put in your 3D files, you add your spawn point, a couple of those prefabs that are needed, but those are normally already pre-configured. So anyone that knows how to use Blender will have a really easy time to import the assets, basically.
Any created avatar isn't an NFT. Yeah, that's true. So if you create something from scratch, unless you brought it in from an external and intentionally turned into an avatar from an NFT, which could be a possibility down the track. But yeah, that's true. That NFT ownership side of it is an advantage as well. Create an awesome avatar and you can't sell it. Yeah, that's true. Although there was an in-game currency at some point. There would be a way of getting around that to trade it in-game, but taking things in and out is obviously the good use case for NFTs in this scenario. And female citizens, I might throw that one to you, Red Pill.
For the avatars created in Ready Play Me, you could always, I mean, if you see an awesome one, like maybe a purple bear or something, you could always copy that.
Boo!
He said purple, not pink.
Yeah, but the more he gives that idea, there'll be a Backstreet boy band in their bear suits.
There'll be a bunch of 5 Care Bears.
Yeah, right.
Different
Have a
colors.
segment
In-game
called-
currency.
A segment called Pete's Corner Cutting Corner.
Yeah, I mean, eventually I think we'd have to look into opening up avatars as well into the, create economy for wearables and, NFTs and those things. But yeah, we're just building the framework around that and, ensuring that any of the previous NFTs also benefit from that. But I think it will definitely also be a big piece. It's always, you have the worlds as one big area and then avatars as the second big thing. So yeah.
Even potentially other projects that are building inside of the districts could potentially want to bring their avatars in as well. So that could be another layer again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Red Pill, the next question was when female citizens. Do you want to tackle that one?
Yeah, I mean, I think we will have a lot of options to go down that route as well. But yeah, currently we don't have like immediate plans to create female fit citizens. But as Benny mentioned before, like regarding creating new citizens out of the ones that we have, or basically like breeding and things like that. There are definitely those things down the road that we will look into. Yeah, we don't have immediate plans to launch a female citizen collection like focused on that.
Have to be careful when we tell people that we're enabling breeding in the vault, because that could go really wrong. We'll be hitting the ban button every 5 minutes.
That's true.
Terminology is the key there.
So we can't breed with a pineapple?
Wouldn't advise it. I said that's personal preference. Have to have female-looking citizens. Yeah, it would be cool. As Red Pill said, don't rule it out.
You can always identify as female.
Oh,
What if you breed a chicken and a pineapple together? What do you get?
Try an apple? I don't know.
Oh my god. All right, we have a question here. Will there be an in-game currency?
Hang on, have I skipped ahead here?
Well, technically, the questions like I'm just going straight to the next question.
mean-
Okay, yeah, sorry, yep, sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Lee.
you mentioned it earlier, so I think they caught out on it. I couldn't.
No, I'm just saying,
find-
if there was an in-game currency, I didn't say there was going to be one. Matter what, whether it's RFOX, a virtual currency, whatever form that took, there has to be a currency, right? We know that.
Yeah, definitely going to be currency for sure.
Trading,
Because otherwise, how is transactions going to happen, right? If you don't have a currency.
exactly. So yeah, of course, there's going to be a currency. What form that takes, I didn't actually say that. But point more was being able to trade things in game without having currency go in and out necessarily, and if things are staying inside the ecosystem, like avatars that don't have NFTs, you can definitely trade those inside the ecosystem, whatever the currency is and whatever form that takes. Is C11 DAO planning on releasing any info? Just curious, not rushing them. Do you have any info on that, Lala? Or do we need to hear from the team?
No, actually, because the C11 DAO guys, the council members are in this chat as well. I'm not sure that everybody knows who the four are, but CryptoJ, Adelaire, CCRY, they are part of the council members. Perry is also one of them, but I'm going to leave them to update as it goes. So if you guys want to know more, I think it'll be best to ask them or to DM them.
I think we should give them some airtime.
Yeah.
I was about to say, if anyone wants to jump in, go for it.
There we go.
If you got a question directly for Adelaire, go for it. Right now.
I got one. How many unrevealed apartments do you have?
Oh my god. He's gonna drop the call.
Can't count that high.
You know the answer, Pete. Does anyone from C11 want to say anything? No pressure. I can move on otherwise, but
Adelaire says he's shy.
Just
true.
give me a minute. I have to get off the couch and actually go out the back. I'll wake the child with my big mouth. It is nearly
While
midnight.
you're doing
here,
that,
isn't it?
Adelaire, I can chime in while you're getting ready.
Yeah, go for it.
G'day all, it's CCRY here. Probably from me, just a big thank you to all community members who voted over the last week or so. Good to know that there were 10 OGs who actually nominated. 4 of us are starting it off. Lots of work that we'll need to do over the coming days and weeks. Lots of information that we'll also want to share with all of you. I know there's lots of questions. I think we'll probably start sharing those more early next week, because that will give us some time to, bring everything together. We're having lots of conversations in the background. Don't want to say too much at this stage, but yeah, just wanted to say big thanks to the community.
I'm much the same. I don't have a whole lot to say because, as all you hear that know me know I am not a tech head, I'm a carpenter. And so the last 48 hours, my head has nearly exploded on several occasions. So I'll probably take the weekend to wrap my head around the situation and everything and what we're actually planning. And we'll have a much better idea of everything come, I don't know, early Monday, Tuesday next week. And yeah, but if any of you do want to, feel free, DM me. They're always open. I'm usually here talking shite. So yeah, feel free to go for it. But yeah, just same as Ryan, big thanks to everyone who actually turned out and voted the four of us in. I think he's all done very well. And yeah, couldn't ask for three better people to be running with. And that's about all I have because I'm sober tonight. So you'll probably get more out of me on Friday.
Actually,
Thank you very much.
the voter
The
turnout was
longest I
great.
heard without a swear word.
Yeah, see? Dealing with professional out there now, there's a
You're a
difference. I'd
changed
say.
man.
Yeah, reformed. I might even trade with you again. Who knows?
It's getting those
But yeah,
votes
that's about
early
all I have
next
to
week.
say, unless Crypto J wants to jump in and say anything.
Hey guys. Yeah, I don't say much either, but echoing what you guys have said, thank you very much to everyone. Appreciate the vote of confidence. We'll work tirelessly to make this a success for everyone, the community, and all the projects that we sort of attract. So yeah, looking forward to diving in and getting into it. Cheers.
Well, thanks, guys. Kolaxy and Terrivaldi are already being built. Did the team already walk inside them in VR? Or is open beta total priority at the moment? Yeah, so we've paused the creation of those 2 quarters leading up to this because we wanted to make sure that the existing quarters finish properly, and we're not building quarters at once and sort of not completing them as we go, or taking too long to complete them. We wanted to have 3 complete and functional quarters for the open beta, and then we'll go back to building the other quarters. We're doing a bit of a working on a bit of a project at the moment to get all that stuff planned out and to figure out what we need resources wise to build the next phase out. So but before we do that, we need to collect some information from the users that come on for the open beta. We need to make sure we're putting that feedback in and making some progress on some of that feedback initially, and then we can start building those out in parallel. And as I said before, the actual timeframes on building those out is a lot shorter now because all the infrastructure's there. The avatar side of things, the chat, the multiplayer, that's all there. So we're really just building out the world itself. So that's partly why we're not concerned. We know that they won't take as long as the first 2 did, and having a bit of a pause to get the others right is what we think is best for everything at the moment. I don't think you want Red Pill to tell you about breeding. We'll skip that one. Leisure Suit Larry would be cool in the vault, but I don't know if you'd be able to make it these days. It's probably not PC. It's definitely not PC. KOGs utility in Vault ready gamified. So Slam will have some KOGs integration, obviously, and definitely be looking at so some of the other games coming up will have some KOGs utility as well. As far as going from like Quest is one avenue or utility in the Vault. So redeeming things from Quest in the Vault. I don't know if you want to elaborate or not, Phil, if it's too early, but
I mean, I think we've talked about it.
okay. I wasn't sure if we covered it or not.
Yeah. It's fine to mention because that's always been part of the story of Vault, is to be able to redeem those in-game rewards or your COGs for character specific items that will have utility in the Vault.
But yeah, it's definitely part of the plan. It always has been. Do you have any OGs and apartments? I do. Probably not enough, to be honest with you. I've only got one unrevealed apartment at the moment, which I'm a little bit sad about. But still, I've got one, so that's more than Phil.
Oh, boo-hoo. Boo-hoo.
Bam!
Boo. Boo
Sorry,
fucking
mate.
who.
I'm a bandwagon guy. I don't know what to tell you. So yeah, I've only got one unrevealed, unfortunately. I've got a lot of studios and a couple of standards, but
Did I? Sorry, Luke. Did I hear that Phil has no unrevealed apartments?
that's the story on the street. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Phil, I'll sell you one.
Sell me one.
Unrevealed. We'll see.
I saw
only
an
have
unrevealed.
How much
I
you
saw an
selling for?
unrevealed sell for 0.18 earlier today.
Oh yeah, the
Like,
Calanova,
yeah.
right?
Right after the reveals happened,
Yeah,
one
yeah.
unrevealed sold for 0.18.
Yeah, that was the
I mean,
Calanova.
I know who bought it, but I'm not gonna rat him out.
The thing is, even if you get a penthouse now, the penthouses I think look awesome. I'll be very happy with that.
I need a couple
Actually
more
can now,
zeros in
because
front of that.
that one, whichever it is, I'll be really happy with it. In fact, I kind of like the penthouse. I think I almost prefer that. That's probably a bit sacrilegious
Okay, if
of
you
me
get a
to say
sky,
that,
I'll
but-
trade you a penthouse. If you get a sky, I'll trade you a penthouse for sure.
That's very generous of you. That's just the mezzanine level and just the height of the ceilings and everything. I just think it looks really cool. Oh, how many Grim 2 packs do you have, Pete?
Yeah, I got 42 Grim packs, but I haven't burned KOGs yet, so I'm gonna burn it over the weekend. Get a bit more.
Play Tetris in VR. Are we getting Quest in the vault? It's something we've talked about. How we do that is the question. Talked about we talked about here about the option of bringing in web-based games or 2D games into the vault. So that would be one method of bringing it in, or we could obviously put a 3D version of it. But I think if it was to come in, we're looking at ways we can get 2D games and web-based games in, because it gives us a huge amount of flexibility. There's such a back catalogue of those games out there that we could bring in really easily once we've got that nailed. So I think there's a lot of value in bringing in those nostalgic games and offering those. One of the things we actually looked at was the very first version of Slam on-chain version before the current version. So that's still floating around somewhere. We've got a lot of options. There's a lot of different arcade and web-based nostalgic games that we could bring in if we got that platform right. So I think that's the most likely method for bringing Quest in. Agree with that, Phil?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's kind of cool as it is. I don't know if it would actually lend itself well to VR the way Slam does anyway. Slam feels like it's made for VR just because of the physics and everything behind it, but I'm not sure Quest would translate as well. Do we think Meta slow down the Metaverse project? That's too expensive. They're way behind. Sorry?
I don't think they've slowed down at all. I think they're just focused on different areas, because they just launched the the full facial technology, right? The AI facial movement
Mapping.
So
Yep.
yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. So I think it looks like they haven't really slowed down. They're just focused on maybe more enterprise type technologies.
It feels like. Hang on.
I'm just saying, like, let's face it, there are a lot of people building metaverses. Facebook might be focusing on other technologies and later look at the buffet of other available environmental metaverses and go on a shopping spree.
And I mean, the media obviously will always do that out of proportion. That any back step he takes after he's made such a big song and dance about it is going to be made out to be him shutting the whole thing down and pulling the plug on the project. My take on it, from what I can see, is and just personally, just from reading, this is just my opinion, but it feels like he's trying to build more of the infrastructure and the platform behind it, rather than, I think he's probably that's where, at the moment, that's where the money is going to be, because all these metaverses are building out, and they need the hardware, they need the tech. So he seems to be working more on that, for public facing standpoint anyway. For what we're seeing improvements to the hardware, we're seeing improvements to operating systems, we're seeing him building out the tech to build scenes, but not really building out the actual metaverse itself just yet. And I think that's, the media sort of latched onto that and sort of thought, oh well, he's not doing it anymore. But I guess part of what he needs to do as well is make sure that he stays the leader, or they stay the leader in VR hardware. And with the rate that's growing, they reckon they sold 20 million of them last year. If it's growing at that rate, and there are that many Oculus 2 headsets out there, it's incredible. And obviously he needs to keep that going. They need to stay as the leader in that space, and he's doubled down on that. And he's made it very hard for anyone else to get in, including Pico and Station Pete. But all this facial recognition software and drivers for his hardware and all the rest of it, all that's going to do is strengthen it. So I don't blame him for focusing on that stuff. I think it's a smart move.
Yeah, I in my opinion as well, is you can actually see the pattern. It changed even for how they're doing marketing. They kind of pulled out a lot of those influencers and just really focus on the tech and what they want to do. It's definitely a shifting of what they plan to. And if you're like us who do giveaways for Oculus Quest, you guys will know that Amazon is like running out of Oculus Quest 2 units. We have refurbished ones on Amazon right now, shipping to Asia, but there isn't like a brand new one. It's been about a month. I've been waiting for one to be delivered to a prize winner. But yeah, I mean, people are definitely on board with the whole VR setup. It's just, it's not exactly portrayed as much on media at this point.
The sales don't lie, and also just the fact that I think the price point's gotten a lot better over the last few years, and become more of a prospect for people. They work. The quality's good. The price is fairly low. It's a masterstroke, because it's made Oculus, and Meta headsets thrown away the market leader. It was the NFT side of Facebook. They don't have proper utilities for them. They don't want to decentralize, so there isn't much value behind them. That's my take on it. Yeah, dropping the NFT stuff is one thing, but it almost feels like they went through the list of requirements to be a metaverse and just started latching onto everything, and they're backing away from some of that. And again, I don't think that's necessarily a bad move on their part. Just need to pick their lane and stay in it. And I think they're too big probably to try and go in 10 different directions. They're just going to they've got too much to protect. If they do that, I think he's probably realized that that's going to be a mistake if they spread themselves that thin. So he's focusing on the stuff that is selling and moving and working at the moment. The physics in Slam been hard to replicate. Phil, do you want to answer that one?
No, I think our developers have done a really good job of. I mean, it's not a replication of the physics, because you actually are grabbing the cog and throwing it down. I think they've done a really good job of connecting those previous parameters to the physical slamming. So once you guys actually are able to see that, you'll see what I'm talking about. I think it's pretty cool.
But it is very cool. See a lot of ads about education and medicine with Meta in the US. Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting at. I think they're building experiences rather than what they sort of suggested they would build. But I think a lot of that stuff, they do seem to be pushing the envelope on it. They are doing some of this pretty advanced stuff. I think, what better way to test their hardware and make sure their platform works? Seems almost it's more that sort of stuff, and testing the waters on what people will accept before they go too hard into it. But yeah, again, that's just my observation. But I did see some ads for Meta when I was over there as well, which was strange. I didn't expect it. Just you're not used to seeing ads in that forum coming from Facebook. They're everywhere else, but just not on TV. One other thing I'll just remind people of is in a couple of weeks when we go to Open Beta, anyone that's in those, either the beta channel or the shop owners channel, so it's mainly shop owners, but I know there are a few that have they're getting earlier releases. Even the channel that everyone else is in, the normal MVP channel at the moment, would mean you're going to get releases before the public. Just a reminder that if you don't want to be isolated, because there will be scenarios where a new version would separate, would basically force you into a new instance, and you wouldn't be in there with the general public. So just keep that in mind. If you always want to be on that public release and always want to be in there with public, then we can take you off that track. If you're happy to get the early updates and be a couple of weeks ahead, then it's fine. We can leave everything where it is. We still definitely want to do that. We still want to get that early feedback and people's opinions before we go out to the public release. Just on that as well, as soon as we've got a build that's complete and tested, we'll share that. So we'll get it out before we go to the open beta to the MVP participants, just to make sure that again, you've seen it beforehand, and just so you get that first look at it before the public sees it. I'll come back with dates on that. We just need to make sure that we're going to have something solid to give you at that point. I think I had any other news. Red Pill, Pete, you got any other news?
Nothing that is already been published, but if you guys didn't read blogs and all that, the KOG sale for the same packs will start tomorrow. For those people who don't have crafting mats or KOGs to burn, you could buy with wax, RFOX, and then unpacking will be next week on Tuesday. So I think that's going to be a party, I guess, Tuesday.
Thanks, Pete. Phil, did you have anything else?
No, I think you covered everything.
Cool. Phil?
Thanks, Luke.
Nope. Good.
Okay. If no one's got any other questions, we'll have an early minute. Go and check this build out.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great week.